Young mouse, son. All right, and I'm gonna share it super quick. Where's my Facebook? Dang. Really did put all my business out there.
What?
Now, this the way this thing works sometimes is.
I know the song you're singing. I'm trying to think of the name of it.
You know, Dylan. That might have just ruined Santa Claus for my child, and somehow Ken was still a part of it.
You just what?
Said that might have just ruined Santa Claus for my child, and somehow Kenneth's ship was still a part of it. Seems on brand.
What you say, mommy?
I'm saying you try to ruin Santa Claus for children.
Yeah, that's my job. You better keep me away from your kids.
Man, you are away from them, and somehow being associated with you still almost ruined it.
That sounds bad. Without
Hide
context.
your kids, hide your wife.
Jerry, okay.
Doing the
Could you
regular
turn your
show
volume
or
up just a smidge?
Yeah. Am I doing the regular one or the spoilery one? I'm doing both.
Well, I mean, yeah, you're here now, so that answers my question.
Oh, yeah. No, Jennifer got called into work, so I had to go run and get her dinner real quick.
Mm-hmm. What'd you get?
I was supposed to get McDonald's, but there was a Five Guys next door, and the line was shorter at Five Guys, so I went to Five Guys.
I mean, also vastly superior food.
Yes.
But also vastly more expensive.
Also true.
They be up there.
It's like, yo, do you want this glass of water, or would you like hot dog water? It's like, let me get the glass of water.
It's true. It's true. So I got there real quick, rolling around with the speed of sound, and yeah.
Nice.
So, would you like some fries?
Store.
I was like, yeah, I'll take some fries. Give him a truckload of fries. It's your lucky day.
All of a sudden, the 18-wheeler just breaks through the back wall, full of fries.
Or more likely, they would like, yo, can I get like a fistful of peanuts? I'm like, yeah, go for it.
Fistful of peanuts. Oh boy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about the Five Guys out in Europe, but the Five Guys over here like always have like a burlap sack full of peanuts, and you can just have as many as you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I don't really understand why, but it is a thing I associate with them, so I guess there's that.
I mean, I don't know. I think it has to do with like the whole what's it called? The fact that they have all the peanut oil that they use. I mean, yes, memes too. Perpetually the memes. But memes.
Oh, well, folks, it is State of the Nerd Union, and we have quite a packed. Well, actually, no, we don't.
No, we don't.
The show
Nothing matters but Spider-Man.
Nothing matters. Hey. Well, to that end, Spider-Man kicked off what is going to be a week of nerdgasmic content. So you started with Spider-Man Thursday night. No Way Home debuted to amazing numbers, which we'll get to at the head of the show.
Amazing.
Witcher debuted on the 17th, the next day, which people have been devouring. And it's hard to even focus on that because, like Steve said, Spider-Man. And we are not going to spoil Spider-Man for you. That's why we have set up an entire discussion for you after this show, which is why we're going to get this whip through the news, going to get through it. And not in a, like, we don't mean that to, like, get through like it's bad. Just more like, but we know what you want to talk
about. We're all in Spider-Man mode. So, so within the context of the first quote unquote hour, if we were 20 minutes on time, we're going to we were dealing with technical razzmatazz like we always are. Of like, is this the right link? No, that's but in this context, we're gonna keep it spoiler free. while we're doing the news, and we'll give our info, and then we'll give our spoiler warning, and then we'll talk about every little moment of this show if we want to, all the way at the end.
Yeah. But luckily, we all have great power here because we know all the things, but we will use it with great responsibility.
Yep.
Indeed. Terrence says they fry their fries in peanut oil.
Yeah.
I did not know that. I learned something today.
So, like, at the Five Guys near me, there's like a giant container of peanuts, and right next to it is several giant containers of peanut oil.
This sounds like supervillain fuel, but okay.
It does kind of sound like it.
There's a religious debate between me and Kenny in there somewhere that we'll have eventually.
We might be having a debate later this week about something
peanut
heavy
oil
for iconography, and the Matrix 4 comes out on this Wednesday.
Is it peanut based?
Maybe. I would put it past now.
I was curious about the transition. I was like, is this the Galaxy Brain play?
All right,
here?
So this is what happened. They brought Neo back from a pit of peanut oil, like the Lazarus pit.
The Lazarus peanut.
The Lazarus peanut.
Man, because of the religious allegories that are in the Matrix, they're all like, well, there's resurrection, like the story of Jesus and stuff like that. So we'll use peanut oil because Chick-fil-A, and we'll have that in the movie and bring Neo back from it.
There you go. It's all connected. It's all.
See, I got this. I'm way ahead of the game here.
It's great. It's part of the global religious union.
And before somebody gets mad, I'm like, y'all hating on Christians? I am a Christian, so shh.
Wow. All right, folks. So that's going to be what we're talking on the show today. Yeah, it goes.
All right, so now moving into Spider-Man. No, I'm just kidding.
There goes my preamble. I'll shoot another one later.
We just ruined it.
I am Commander Ship. You've been listening to my co-host Dumax and Ace Trainer Jerry as we start off with the box office for Spider-Man No Way Home. Again, we don't make money off of this, so this is just more of whenever we report on these numbers, it's about it's notes where the industry is at. So this is a really good sign for where theaters are at. Does need to be taken into context of pandemic numbers, which I'll break down in a second.
Mm-hmm.
Now, earlier yesterday, Spider-Man No Way Home was predicted to take third, which would put it right underneath Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. As of reporting by the end of today, there's taken into account all the receipts from Sunday. It got to 260 domestically, which takes it $3 million over Avengers Infinity War. So that puts it in the second spot domestically. And then its worldwide gross right now is at $600 million, but I feel like that might be more. So
the article that I've read said that 600 million figure was without China, which is like a donkulous achievement, because like basically like if you're producing cinema, as you've heard on the show before, it's like you don't make stuff without considering China because the market's so big.
Yeah,
so
it's a little odd in that way, but if we had those numbers with that into account, and then we also have to take into account that we are still in a pandemic, so it is impressive what it did getting to number 2. It probably. And I love Endgame, had a lot of fun with it, but this probably would have beaten Endgame. Just every indicator that I at least see right now of like if this releases in a normal summer, or even if it was December, even if it was still a December movie, it's just like everything about this seems prime that it probably would have overtaken Endgame. It's just, this is as good as it could do.
But really, though, like you dropped a trailer before the movie came out featuring Doc Ock's Alfred Molina. Like, at that point, it's already got something that Endgame didn't have. And so I could see where like there's an appeal there for fans to just flow into it. And with the way that it blew up, like, I could see it beating Endgame.
Yeah. And also with this one, you have like Spider-Man is the biggest name in the MCU, in the sense of like prior to the MCU, like you had people who like maybe they knew about Iron Man. They probably knew about the Hulk. They definitely didn't know about Hawkeye. They definitely probably didn't know about Black Widow. But everybody knows about Spider-Man. So, like, you get, like, the pull of people who are like, I don't really watch that many MCU movies, but Spider-Man, I'm in. And you get to pull of folks who have been, they've seen all, 22 plus films or whatever, and this is just the next one, and they're super hyped for it. So it's like you have, all the regular fans plus even the more casual folks who were just like, oh, Spider-Man movie? Yeah, count me in.
Yeah. If for anyone that comes in the comments, we were talking about the mainstream appeal. Steve was talking about mainstream appeal. And it's like, people before 2008, none of y'all were talking about Iron Man. Let's just be honest. That was not
like, unless you was reading Iron Man comics, it's like you wasn't talking about Iron Man.
And if you did, you're probably talking about how much of a jerk he was. To be
really honest, not a role model.
What's up?
He's not a role model.
No, he was not.
No.
He was a drunk.
He's arguably still not a role model, even in the movies.
He gets better, but yeah.
He gets better.
Whole other episode.
Yeah. So there's other box office stuff. We may not do a Commander Ship show tomorrow because we are doing Matrix Resurrections. Revolutions. Goodness, too many R titles.
Yeah, they really got us.
Entirely on purpose.
They got us. Matrix Revolutions is tomorrow, our final rewatch before Resurrections comes out. So we may not do a Commander Ship show tomorrow, but there might be more box office breakdown because West Side Story was last weekend, and then we're getting ready to head into Matrix and a bunch of other stuff coming out Christmas Day. So we might chat about that. But kudos, Spider-Man. All right.
Thanks, Spider-Man.
Thanks. Unfortunately, for fans of Cowboy Bebop, or fortunately for fans of Cowboy Bebop, depending on where you fall on that, the Netflix live-action adaptation has been canceled. So you can still watch season 1 on Netflix if you choose to. We're still finishing out our Quorum series on it. But season 2, or however many seasons they were going to do of it, has not been picked up. Fans have rallied to try to petition and bring attention to it, to the eyes of Netflix, and hopefully get it greenlit again to go at least complete out the story that they were going to do. Did everyone here get to finish it?
I still haven't watched it yet. You know how I am with watching shows.
Yeah.
It's like the moment that a show is like, what's the episode length, and I'm like, I could watch like 3 episodes of Bob's Burgers in that time.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but I'm really angry about like them canceling it anyways because everything that I've seen from it looks really good. I'm like, this has so much potential. The whole thing looks dope, and they canceled it. And I'm like,
the entire presentation was deception.
No, it has problems, and I enjoy it. But there's tons of animes that go on for way too long and have problems, which I won't go off on because that's going to take too much time away from Spider-Man.
Hey man, but they're bringing Bleach back. It's okay. You'll have the redemption.
But like, there's plenty of. There's plenty of stuff.
If you weren't talking about Spider-Man later, you would have just ruined my night.
Oh man, but yeah, I mean, I'd be fine with watching, a couple seasons of it. And given the number of times people recommend an anime to me, and they're like, "Oh, it really pops off after season 4," and I'm like, the committal to make sub-adequate television for 3 or 4 seasons for it to finally find its footing is like ridiculous. So if they're willing to do it with some stuff, give things the time that it needs to do its own thing. Like, I understand like they're doing Cowboy Bebop a little bit differently, and that's cool because there's some stuff with Cowboy Bebop that I never liked. So I'm interested to see, like, if you do it a little bit differently, then cool, I'm here for it. If you want to do it to a T, then like that's gonna be fun too. So But
here's the other thing.
Oh well.
Of the live action adaptations from Cowboy Bebop, or of animes in general, it seems like, from everything I've been hearing, it seems like Cowboy Bebop has done the best job of all of them.
I think it's generally pretty good. Especially Netflix's live action animes track record isn't that great.
That's what I'm saying.
So this was easily one of their better ones. And I feel like someone was making an argument for Rurouni Kenshin.
Rurouni Kenshin's so good.
That might I gotta rewatch it. Maybe I gotta.
The fight choreography in Rurouni Kenshin is amazing.
Yeah,
I mean,
and this just seemed like if this show had another season, another chance to simmer. They're just I think the direction they wanted to
It
go
would have been good.
Yeah, it would have been good. And there's like one character, Vicious, that I think probably could have used some reworking, because I don't mind the direction he went with some different. And when we get to the end of the quorum discussion, I might shoot a video and like break down what I think worked and didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of really cool things. There's a lot of threads that are like, let's flesh this out more, because this wasn't really that fleshed out in the short anime because really when you think about Cowboy Bebop, even if you enjoy it, it's short.
Yeah.
So it's impressive what they do in a short amount of time, but there's some threads that are just like, these are as thin or as streamlined as we gotta make them because we gotta go. We gotta
go fast.
Yeah.
Gotta go faster.
Cool.
Maybe they'll like learn from Cowboy Bebop and do like, I don't know, Outlaw Star next or something.
If they mess that up, I'll murder them.
I mean, me too. But there's a live Gundam movie coming out, so whatever.
God, what shows would I be? I gotta think about that one. What would I be majorly upset if they messed up?
I'd be pissed off if they made a live action My Hero Academia and they screw it up.
I would be upset if they did a live action JoJo's and messed it up. But JoJo's is a show that would be exceptionally difficult to do with real people and not shoot it like Power Rangers. Like if you're gonna do JoJo's, you just need to be like, nah, this is basically
See, this is
Power
why
Rangers.
but this is why I like the live action Power Rangers, because they do lean into it. They're just like,
oh,
we're
absolutely,
gonna make this nice and gritty, and then they're like, no, we know what we did. Let's just go.
Okay, but like, oh, sorry. All right, we're gonna get off track. Dang it, Taryn, make a note about Power Rangers, because I want
Power Rangers JoJo.
God, I should just do a YouTube series on Power Rangers.
Go JoJo
It would take me
Rangers.
forever, and I would love it. I could talk about all things Power Rangers.
I mean, we can.
My dream would be getting Bulk and Skull to guest.
It's morphin' time.
Guest host on the podcast.
So let's just make this. Let's just make the video. We'll do it eventually. Like, do it. Schedule it.
Do it. You won't.
Something else that me and Jerry and I believe Steve to some degree, me and Jerry talk about Digimon all the time. But Digimon Con is coming, y'all. It is happening February 26th, 2022. They
better have that song.
And we just got.
Of course they will.
So
just saying All Star, it's the same.
Is that the same chord progression? Oh my gosh.
No, it's not the same chord progression, but like All Star was also in like the first Digimon movie, so that's why everybody like remembers like from that as well as Shrek.
Yeah. That's not the same. Yeah, I was gonna say that's not the same chord progression at all.
So Digimon Con will be streaming exclusively on Bandai's YouTube page. The event website says that the first iteration of Digimon Con seeks to be a celebration of all things Digimon, presenting a wide range of content for the enjoyment of people all over the world who love Digimon.
Nice.
So we don't know what events will take place during the stream, but there's been rumors of a new Digimon game. If you played the Cyber Sleuth series, it was actually really, really solid. There could be like a new Digimon world.
It's not rumors, it's confirmed.
Oh, well, then I take it back. But we haven't seen anything from it, right?
So the latest update on it is that they had to push it back based on pandemic-related production issues, the same kind of stuff that the issues that Hills of Rise ran into, where they had to push the scheduling back. It also affected Digimon Arise or Digimon Survive, which is going to be a turn-based. I don't know. It seems like turn-based, but also looks similar to like Octopath Traveler in some ways. I don't really know, but. I don't know. Not in the like multiple stories way, but like the animation style.
Like the visuals.
The combat visuals look similar.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a turn-based RPG. At least last we checked, it was, and they had to push it back just because they were really trying to focus on like getting some other things out, and they had pandemic-related issues and every development. So it's whatever. It's not really unexpected.
Okay. Yeah. Apologies. So yes, maybe we'll get a sneak peek of that and/or the new projects that they were focusing on. So
hey, now get a sneak peek, get your game on.
The one thing I'll say is I hope we get some Digivices re-released because
yes!
if you've been trying to get a Digivice on the secondary market, it is terrible. And I know they're probably not going to re-release any more second or 20th anniversary Digivices. Like I get it, I get it. That's a limited run, but just can we just get some? Can we get some of the old Digivices released just so I could purchase it like at a reasonable price and not pay $200 to $300 for a Digivice? I would love that. Come on.
I'll tell you what you can
get. It would be nice.
So here's what you can get. If you're into like
disappointed.
Yes. But also if you're into like Fitbits and things like that, and you like to track your steps and all that kind of stuff and track your fitness things, right. You can grab these Vita bracelets that Bandai has been producing that do like they're literally like a Digivice with like a Fitbit crossed together.
That's cool.
We should probably drop that in the comments somewhere. But so you can find them on Amazon. You can look up Digimon Vita bracelet and it'll pop up. And there's like I want to say like 5 or 6 of them now, and they all have like different Digimon starters that they come with. But the Digimon can digivolve into different things based on your activities that you do.
Huh.
So, like, what they'll turn into is based off of, like, how many steps, how high is your heart rate consistently, like, what are you doing, like, how much exercise are you doing, how much exercise are you not doing, like, things like that.
I mean, everybody's, like, living the same life right now because of the pandemic, so it's like Numamon. Every Digimon that you get, it just turns into Numamon.
It'd be funny. But, yeah, but you can get, like, one bracelet, and instead of having to buy multiple bracelets, all you do is, like, change out the chip inside of it, and it'll switch to the Digimon you're using.
Oh, that's cool. Nice.
I need to buy one.
Cool. That is it for the quick hits. So how about this? I'll knock out the cinephiles real quick. Steve, do you want to take the video games? And then all 3 of us will tag team tech.
Tag tech, yeah.
We'll tag tech. Dun, dun, dun. All right. So I was reading on this past weekend. And I said basically called it the wild 48 hours of Chris Knopf because. Sex and the City had a new series drop on HBO Max. Chris Knopf has historically played the character Mr. Big. Spoiler break warning, it's unfortunate, but if you watch that, he's no longer in the show. His character was killed off in the first episode. But he was riding a Peloton bike. Peloton was not consulted about that use of that joke happening, and they were like, we don't want people to associate dying with a cycle, which, that's fair as a company. Like, hey, let's not. Can we not associate that with our ad? And they quickly are able to get together, shoot an ad for it, which is kind of funny but it's all right. Ryan Reynolds does a voiceover for it at the end, and boom, popular is surges viral on not TikTok but Twitter and different social media sites. So, all right, cool. Good job. And then you could probably, if you had to guess what happened, Chris Knopf has on-set harassment and sexual assault allegations come out from two people that worked with him in the past. And most recently. So the Peloton ad is, for one, gone. Don't know if that had anything to do with why he wasn't in the upcoming season of Sex and the City. Waiting to hear back on that. No one's reported on that. Or maybe the cast members on that set knew. But yeah, that was one. I'm glad companies moved quickly and like struck them or like pulled that, and we'll let that investigation take its course. Figure out what happened. But good lord.
Booth McDougal.
Gosh, just get it together. All right, sorry. We'll talk about it. Well, another moron. Goodness, that photo did not come out the way. There we go. Kind of. Yeah, that's all right. All right. Jay Johnson, who voiced Jimmy Pesto of Bob Burgers, is no longer allowed on the set of Bob Burgers to voice the character Jimmy Pesto, and there's no word yet if Jimmy Pesto's character will be recast. He's through the years been the villain, or not the villain, but the arch enemy of Bob in the show. And you might wonder, well, what happened? Did something happen on set or something like? He's like, no, not on set. Something happened on the U.S. Capitol. Jay Johnson has been one of the people identified as participating in the riot. As far as like how far his actions, whether it was at the rally and or took him into the building, we don't know all of that completely. But he was definitely involved, at least not in a small way. He was definitely a named person in the riot. So yeah, that's just, I like some of the coverage on it. It was like we just couldn't make that up, like that happened.
Yeah, like my partner had told me about that story when it came out, and she was saying it's like how on brand for Pesto, and I'm like that's probably in the vein, maybe kind of sorta. I'm like, I feel like he's a little bit too cowardly, and like even though he's a big jerk, like he is occasionally nice to Bob. So I'm like, that maybe casual fan probably would see it, but big yikes.
Big yikes. Oh man. Let's see. And it is, it's that time. That's it for we have for the Cinephiles because it's that time. You know that. Time?
Indeed. It is game time. Bam, 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 bam. Cool. So, popular game that came out, was it? Oh, geez. Was it earlier last year or this year? I don't know. Time dilatation's weird. I think it was this year.
Was it? No, I think it was last year because wasn't it up for like a bunch of awards last year?
Wasn't that this year?
I feel like
I think it was. It came out in 2020. It got awards this year.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know. Okay, yeah, okay, then yeah. All right. Anyway, Hades wins a Hugo Award, which I think it's also like one of the only games to be nominated for such. A quote from Greg Cavison on receiving the award: "Wish I could have attended the Hugo Awards in person. I wasn't able to make an acceptance speech there on behalf of the team, though I did have a few words here. I'm grateful that the awards are recognizing the work in this category, much less the works that we did." Kotaku has a bit of a blurb from them that the Hugo Awards are basically the annual literary awards given to various sci-fi and fantasy works in the world of science fiction convention every year. So normally, video games aren't acknowledged as like a category, nor do they even nominate it for the award. However, this year a new category was added just for video games, and Hades was the one to win for that. I think it's great, and it's great for furthering the efforts to see games as art, because that's what they are. And Hades is a worthy game to win it. I enjoyed it, not as much as everybody else, but I enjoyed Hades. And they do a really great job with the storytelling and the personification of all of the Greco-Roman deities and so forth. Easing on down, there's a new Ghostbusters game that works according to Winston. So the original cast member Ernie Hudson confirmed with Joe Blow that the original crew is scheduling out time for voice acting, though no word yet on when things might be coming out or when things might be coming together. So this is probably to do most with the most recent Ghostbusters continuation expansion that we just got, which was really good. If you haven't seen it, I recommend going to check it out. I had a fun time with it. But yeah, new Ghostbusters game.
Woo-woo.
I want it to come out and be like a Left 4 Dead style Ghostbusters game where you pick like one of them and you're like running around. There's ghosts everywhere.
Hey, I wouldn't be mad at it. That is
how the other game was supposed to play.
I was gonna say that was how the other one was supposed to be.
So like make a fusion of like Luigi's Mansion and Left 4 Dead. And
Hell yeah. Or just give me reskinned Luigi's Mansion.
It would be wild.
All right.
Jerry, you want to take the first one off of the next section?
Yeah, I got you. So Uber is aiming to test an autonomous food delivery system in 2022. In partnership with autonomous delivery service Motional, Uber will launch the service in the local city of Santa Monica, though no word on how many cars will participate, though we're aware that it will be limited to a smaller set of restaurants in order to properly test the system. And I think them limiting it to like a smaller number of restaurants is probably really good right now because they are already having problems with the number of restaurants that they have, much less like the driver problems that they're having in the midst of that. So like, I don't know, it might give them time to like refine the service and figure out like the best way to, how to put this? I guess efficiently like do mapping and things like that. So I am curious as to how that's going to go down. One, because I don't know. I know that a lot of the bugs with self-driving cars have been worked out, but given that we haven't even like fully as a society gotten that going, and then we're like, we're going to do food service as an autonomous thing. I was like, shouldn't we like figure out the cars for the people part first?
Well,
nope. Definitely, this is the first step.
So a little thing about Uber though, and I was it Engadget that originally reported that one?
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah.
They made a really good kind of history update for Uber in that some of the biggest things with the car sharing apps was that they eventually wanted to put out an autonomous fleet. Right. Ergo, because you could more cheaply maintain the autonomous fleet than having a human behind it. Right. So they still, again, obviously we know they haven't been able to do that with Uber yet as a service. And this is one of the aims that hopefully get them closer to that. But a key note is they're still going to have a person in the car checking it.
You still have to have people there to verify stuff. Right. So, like there's a meme that it's something to the effect of like, companies are always like, hey, if you guys don't do what we want you to do, we're going to replace you with robots and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, now when we have a mass exodus of people from a bunch of jobs, they're like, the robots aren't ready yet. Please come back. And not only are the robots not ready yet, but, actually, we still need a robo-human synthesis in order for this to work at all. So never mind. I'm sorry.
Fun fact, I was gonna say fun fact. That's actually one of the complaints about Big Hero 6. People are like, this is a cool movie, but also please don't replace us with Baymax.
Yeah, I mean, also like you can't replace like the entirety of medicine with just like a robot. You could probably get a lot of things done. Yeah, you could probably in Star Trek, but you can do a lot of things that robots will help make easier, and can probably make more be more precise when the time for precision is needed. But like, there's still a lot of like care stuff that you just need to have a person there for, because trying to make a machine that can do all the things that a versatile human could do and knows when to stop doing one thing and to start doing something else, it's just like, just hire somebody. It's just cheaper.
Yeah, I will say for the Uber thing though, on the flip side of public hasn't really accepted accepted autonomous driving as a thing, this could be an opportunity for them to be able to get more trust in them doing an autonomous fleet, because if they can nail this and show that, hey, we can do this safely and effectively, then maybe they would try to scale it up to like driving people around that way. And yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I just feel like our infrastructure, granted, the AI does need to be to a sufficient point, and for this to work. So this is not downplaying that. Just our road infrastructure, as a person that's been cycling the past year, sucks. It is awful.
Oh, I wasn't even going to talk about it from like the quality of the road, but I was going to say, like, in order to have a fleet of anything, like, you need space to put that kind of stuff, and like ideally, the way that cities are constructed shifts to permit, like, rather than have, you can have a fleet of individual cars, but like, if you have individual cars, and like have like a fleet of automated buses, like have like other kinds of things that like where you can actually have a meaningful transit system in a city. Looking at you, DC. What that like is actually useful and can help get people around, because when you look at how I'm gonna go off, I'm gonna cap it at a 2-minute go off. When you look at how for folks who have been to large metropolitan areas, when you look at how subway systems are constructed, like they have a very clear purpose, where you have a whole bunch of traffic like in like the center city area, and a whole bunch of branches that fork off to the sides, and like long rows that don't bisect each other once they leave the city. So you have like a basically the subway exists to get you from outside the city to inside the city. And if you wanted to go anywhere else from outside the city to somewhere else outside the city, like you're basically hosed and you have to like get a car. So like if in order to really take advantage of this, of like having a better public transit city system, like you need to have interconnecting routes where every suburb doesn't only go back into the city, but they go to each other, because then it's like, oh, I don't have to take a train, or I don't need a car, because I can, even though it's only 15 minutes or 20-minute drive from suburb A to suburb B, it's a 45-minute journey into the city and then back out to go to suburb A to suburb B. not helpful. So, like, there's a lot that having a fleet of self-driving vehicles, be they cars or buses or whatever, can help solve. But, like, if we want to reduce number of cars on the road, which we do, we need to improve public transit, like, by a lot.
Yeah. All right. We are moving, folks, because we have 8 minutes before the spoiler conversation over on Discord for Spider-Man No Way Home. So we are moving.
Also,
you want to take the next one?
You brought up a good point about the fatigue and AI healthcare stuff, and we'd love to talk more about that. But we gotta go.
Yes. Podcast ratings are coming to Spotify, though as the time of writing, I have not seen that update across my OS systems, on my Windows Spotify app, or on my Google Play devices, or just on my Android devices. I haven't seen that update hit, but effectively it will let you start off with a star rating, though you can't leave a written review as of now. Or at least what they've said the update will allow. So when it comes out to be a star rating, again, haven't seen that on mine. Other folks I've talked to have not seen it yet. So again, don't know if we're going to get a strong release date on when that will happen. Cool. But I do think this is really solid. Yeah, it's been needed. Come on, Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next up.
This one's me. I was typing a comment to a nice cup of tea. Hold up. Google is under investigation for how they work with their black female employees. So the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing, DFEH, that's hard to say, is investigating claims from Google employees on issues of workplace harassment and discrimination. This is a preliminary step, which includes like interview gathering and establishing facts of the claim. But like any investigation, we want to give it the same respect that we do everything else. There is one thing that I double-edged sword, kind of, sort of. It's like, I am disappointed that all these things like have to happen, but I am glad that they are happening, and that like whatever is going down, that more people, wherever they are, whoever they are in charge, are listening to the employees who have probably been calling out and pointing out these issues for a long time. But something in the water right now is different, where we're starting to respect the voices that are coming up. So I'm glad that that we're hearing that multiple companies, Activision, Ubisoft, Sony, Google, and so forth, are having these investigations done, because nobody's hands are perfectly clean, and we all have space to improve. Some of their hands are filthy, looking at you, Activision, but other folks are probably, messing up the average amount that companies are doing, which isn't to say that that's good, but it's to say that, they're exactly as bad as you expect that they are. And they're going to be held accountable for it. So I'm glad that the work is being done and that the voices are being heard.
Indeed.
Yeah. Back to the Spotify point real quick. I can, in fact, star rate a couple podcasts that I follow.
I can't. Also.
So, yeah, maybe it hasn't been rolled out to everyone yet.
Okay. So, yeah.
Gotcha. Well, then I'll take the next one. Making sign language the norm, Meta, Facebook adds sign language interpreters to their portal service. Now, this isn't for... so this is specifically like if you... provided the user is registered with ZP Better Together, that's the firm that's handling it, and it also provided ADA funds from the government, which will allow anyone that would need these type of assistive abilities or assistive devices across the internet or various places where they may work or live, would allow them to do this. The user can confirm that on the portal website, and again for ZP Better Together, and afterwards an English or Spanish ASL interpreter will be available as I use portal video calls or meetings.
Nice.
So it's a really solid,
solid
addition.
Obvious move to do. It's like, oh yeah, this you should do this.
Yeah. Now, whether that will be expanded outside of the portal services to other Facebook video services, I'm not sure. And I think there also might be a privacy issue there if it gets outside of portal, because at least portal is more meeting setup with portal as opposed to your normal Facebook Messenger video, so I could see there being issues in doing it in that way, but portal at least gives them some ways of, this is a scheduled time that a company or a group is working on. So
yeah.
All right. Next step, but related. Actually, I'll go and tackle this one since it's very related.
Okay.
SiriusXM has a lawsuit coming in from the National Association of Deaf and Disability Rights Advocates that claim that SiriusXM isn't doing enough to make its content accessible to their users. So their whole purpose here is to hopefully move companies off the position. So this is what we were talking about, making this the norm, moving them off the position of nice to have and something that becomes a second nature addition to their programming and services across the industry. And that is a very large. So in their press release and some of the pushback they got was, why are you picking only SiriusXM? To their response was, well, granted, we could technically hit a lot of other folks on this, but we felt SiriusXM had done nothing. And while we are aware of other efforts that folks have done in their various platforms and services, some that have done a little bit better than SiriusXM, we're hoping this would be the start, and that maybe we won't even have to get to those other companies. Maybe they'll take initiative and continue to flesh this out while we work with Sirius to get theirs expanded.
Reasonable,
right.
Yeah.
So some of this is as easy as episode transcripts. Just the ability to be able to read a episode as opposed to listening to an episode.
I can take the next one. Jerry, you want to do the one right after that?
Yeah, I'll do one after that.
The AirTag one.
Thing? Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. Cool. So this one is DHS is offering up to $5,000 for bug bounties. So essentially, within the Department of Homeland Security's cyber systems, you have what are called white hat hackers, which are basically folks who do the things that nefarious hackers would do, but with agreement from the entity that they're doing it for. So basically, they're offering these individuals to sign up to try and find vulnerabilities within Department of Homeland Security so that they can fix them, resolve them, and then improve the overall system and security of DHS. A quote from DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, as federal government cybersecurity quarterback, good metaphor, DHS must lead by example and consistently seek to strengthen the security of our own systems. The Hack DHS program incentivizes highly skilled hackers to identify cybersecurity weaknesses in our systems before they can be exploited by bad actors. Oh wait, Kenny, you have the what's it called up? There you go.
Sorry, yeah, I just saw that.
Now people know that we're using Slack instead of Discord like cool kids.
We use Discord.
Businesses use Slack. We good.
Businesses use Teams. Anyway, so Engadget writes, the program, as a quote from the same individual, the program will use a platform developed by the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA, and monitored by the DHS Office of the Chief Information Officer. That department will verify any bugs within 48 hours and either fix them or develop a plan to do so within 15 days. DHS said that the attacks against it went up fourfold in 2021, but some of the most dangerous groups that traditionally make attacks against them have slowed down. Mayorkas said at Bloomberg's Technology Summit, quote unquote, that doesn't mean that they've gone away and that we've defeated them. That they very may well have just hit the pause button. Vigilance has to remain at an incredibly high level. So even though some of the worst actors have slowed down, the number of attacks has still gone up, fourfold. So it doesn't mean that they can think, okay, blah 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 group is gone, we beat them, and they're gone forever. It's like they're on vacation, they're on holiday or whatever, they're chilling out. But yeah, so that's what's going down. If you consider yourself to be a highly skilled hacker and you want to help out the DHS department, then you too can join this Hack DHS program.
All right.
Well, how the sign-up rate's going to be up on that?
No idea. The bonuses for each bugs are from $500 to $5,000, depending on the severity of the issue.
Wow. That's a range. But yeah. All right. So, on the list of other things that have to do with security, there's been a problem with AirTag stalking. And so, for those who don't know what AirTags are these little things that help you find your iPhones and find your devices and things like that. You can just kind of stick them on there and like have a Bluetooth connected to it and help you find your stuff. But some people are using that to stalk other people. So they'll like hide the AirTag somewhere, but have their stuff connected to it still, and then track you on it. So
dislike.
This is becoming an increasingly large problem. Nope. Bye-bye. Sorry, my son is trying to find his. Yes.
I don't know what's deciding.
All right, I'm gonna ask Steve to take this over because I gotta go parent real quick.
I got you.
Yeah, no problem.
Be right back.
Yeah, so people are basically taking these AirTags and slipping them onto someone's person in order to track them and keep tabs on them, and basically like secretly stalk you and follow you around. This kind of goes to my my comment from several shows ago about like Google Glasses. And it's not quite the same thing, because it's like, you know, my comment about that thing was like, there's no ethical usage of this tool, and like everybody's gonna use them for nefarious shit all the time. But these are just like, this is a tool where it's like, you know, god damn it, I always lose the remote. Let me just slap a Bluetooth thing on it so that I don't have to look for it anymore. And people are, you know, misusing them. So I'm in a tight spot where I'm like, I don't really know how to feel about this as a technology tool. Because, you know, if the functionality exists, whether you embed the object in the device itself or you make it a separate thing that you can put onto something, like, it doesn't matter. Like, that's just a hardware problem. Like, they're going to utilize it however. Yeah, this is from a technological point, I'm not sure how I feel about the objects themselves now. I'm like,
Yeah.
There's always going to be people who misuse stuff.
That's why we can't have nice things.
Yeah, it is how we can't have nice things.
Nice Cup of Tea brings up a good point. There's no stopping the use of these tags, though. It's too widely available.
Yeah, and that's the problem. It's like you know, if you make a thing, there are people who are crafty enough to find a way to misuse it. And no matter what it is, you know, preferably the barrier for misuse is like higher than just put these glasses on.
Right. Yeah.
But you know, that is the problem. What's it's like the inverse of the foolproof phrase, where like the problem with making something completely foolproof is to underestimate the ingenuity of a complete fool. In this case, the problem with making something unable to be misused is to underestimate the craftiness of those who would misuse it. But yeah. Welcome back, Jerry.
Hey, thanks. Sorry about that.
Back.
It's all good. But this brings us down to... Oh, wait. There's our main story, or main stories, but there's one other thing. The Kronos ransomware attack and its implications. Jerry, do you want to take this one? Because you mentioned before the show that you had a direct relation to this one.
Yeah, so several people I know are actually affected by this. The Kronos network is a rather large system, but one of the big things that it does is that it affects like some payroll systems. So it's a private cloud solutions division and handles a lot of payroll systems across the country, like for various types of businesses. And the irregular activity was caught and is likely going to be handled in short order, but it has been causing problems for employers because they can't get their employees the paychecks the same way that they normally would right now. And it's also affecting like how difficult it is for them to track their employees' hours and stuff like that. So right now, some of the situations that have come up are stuff that would normally be digitally tracked. Like employers right now having to have like managements like spend extra time like tagging in when all of these people clocked in, when they clocked out, and depending on the size of whatever businesses it is, you can imagine how much extra time that's taking up out of their work hours. On top of that, it hasn't really been completely stated how some of these employers are planning to get their employees paid on time, or if they're going to be paid on time. So there's tension there. You can go on TikTok and find all sorts of videos of people being ticked off about this, honestly. But the long story short was that there's a ransom that happened because the Kronos network got hacked, and they wanted, I don't remember how much money was it. Like, it was a good number of millions of dollars. I remember.
I think it's here in the notes.
No, it's not in the notes, and I was told by one of my friends who's affected by this, but it did not say in the notes. And I don't remember. I remember it was a whole lot of money, like multiple millions and millions and millions of dollars. And so
$1 million.
Yeah, and maybe I'm not actually supposed to know that. But long story short is that they got hacked. They're being ransomed for that. It has not been told to some of the employees whether or not the network is going to pay out that ransom. So we'll keep you posted on that. So yeah, just millions. Maybe just millions. I think I want to say I heard like 500 million or something like that, but I don't know if that's completely accurate. But yes, so long story short is that a lot of people are not getting paychecks when they're supposed to be getting paychecks this holiday because this network got hacked and they either have to pay a ransom or figure out how they're going to get around it. And the resolution has not been stated for it yet, so we'll see what happens with it. So yeah.
Yeah, because to be clear, the resolution we were talking about in the notes was the ability to get them paid. Did not have to necessarily do with the data that's being held ransom, because it was going to be put in two separate. So Kronos apparently has a way to be able to still get, will eventually be able to get people back on track getting paid, but that's still not a short term.
Still takes time.
Still gonna take time, so that's screwed. That's a problem. And then there's data that has been held by the folks that initiated the ransomware attack. So I think to what Jerry's talking about, that ransom amount, that's what has not been resolved. So I didn't want people to think that.
No, the pay part also has not been resolved yet, actually.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. It definitely hasn't been. It's not. It's like even when they say like, yeah, we'll have a way to get that fixed, it still obviously is not fixed.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
okay, I see what you're saying.
You would have paid it, got the back payments out, and then gone about your day. So it's still messed up. I'm taking them at their current word that if that part will be loosely.
I got you.
All right.
Cool. Well, that brings us to our final topic, the one you've been waiting for, spoiler-free discussions of Spider-Man. To add a little bit of order to our spoiler-free and kind of put a cap on it, because we're going to go off, but let's go off in just a little bit. We just did. We just filmed the crossover episode with Blurred Bar, and I'll take a page out of their book. Rating out of what's your rating for the film? I'm not sure how much we can talk about it that's not going to be spoilery. Maybe like excitement going into it. Were you able to avoid spoilers? And then like what were your rating for the overall film?
Go ahead, Jim.
Okay. I was able to avoid spoilers as much as somebody in the industry reporting on stuff can avoid spoilers. Mm-hmm. So that's about as much as I can say about that. So I was able to avoid spoilers that much. I definitely had moments that I was surprised by in the movie, so that was great. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, like I give it a 9 out of 10. Like it was really good. Like it was spectacularly good, and I enjoyed it.
Where's my chopsticks?
I'm a dad. I gotta make the jokes.
I'm not. But yeah, today I'll let it go.
It was a great experience.
Nice. How about you, Kenny?
So there's a TikToker I follow on the J Stubes, and they said you're gonna get what you're expecting, you're gonna get what you're not expecting. You don't know what you're gonna get things you didn't know you wanted. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, man, that's accurate. I had another friend, Remy, that said somehow the fan theories were all right and wrong, and it's okay. and I'm like, that statement also works as well. I have made my thoughts about Tom Holland's Spider-Man well known. I don't dislike his performance as Spider-Man, to be clear. I just feel like his Peter Parker, because of the MCU stuff, we haven't really gotten that Peter. Like Homecoming's probably been the closest we've gotten to traditional Spider-Man story in this MCU. And somehow this film was able to do that on top of all the other things that were happening. Like this is an insane story, but it's still a Peter Parker story. And and they did it in 2 hours. It wasn't a 3 hour movie. It really wasn't. It was 2 hours and 28 minutes.
And it didn't feel
long.
Like it.
And it just, and I'm like,
the pacing is really good in the movie.
So yeah, 9 out of 10. I hesitate to. I got to give it some more time to think if I would bump that up, because there is one thing about the premise that we'll talk about when we get to the spoiler chat in Discord.
Yeah,
that I could pick at and be like, there's still some problems with this, and it's just kind of like, this is what you started with, so it's whatever. It's not like you could reverse course, even if you wanted to after writing this movie. So we'll get to that in a bit. So that might be the only thing I would really ding it for. Otherwise, holy crap.
I also really like how it ends too. I also like how it ends too.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Discord.
Yeah. So for me, I was able to avoid a remarkable amount of spoilers for the film. It was only actually talking with the folks on the Blurred Bar where I realized like how much stuff had been spoiled. Because I'm like, oh wow, I didn't hear about that. Like I didn't hear about this. Like I heard, a couple of comments here and there from the beginning, or like way earlier on in the production. And like I was like, oh okay, like I that doesn't tell me anything, but I don't need to know nothing. Nothing. That said, I give it a. I think, what would that work out? Probably like a 9.5 out of 10. I love the film. It's probably the time that, I want to keep some stuff, and I'll keep it vague. Some stuff I won't comment on about how I felt about it, because I just don't want to give anything away. But I really enjoyed it, like basically all the way through. There's some questionable plot stuff here and there, but like, it's the same questionable plot stuff that exists in the comic books, and we are now at the point in the MCU where the same problems that the comics have are going to be the same problems that the movies have. Where like sometimes you tell a story, something happens for the sake of the story, and that's the way it's going to be. And even though it's a little funky, the story is dope. So we gonna do it, and that's how I feel about it. Some stuff's a little funky, but the whole story as a collective is dope. So we gonna do it.
Yeah, you're really only gonna get like one other non-comic story that's better than this for Spider-Man, and that's it. Like, it's really good.
All right. So yeah, we said that was gonna be short because we wanted to keep it spoiler free.
Yep, and there's not a lot more we can talk about without keeping it spoiler free.
When you read my spoiler free review, you'll probably also be like, "Dang, that's probably the shortest one you've ever written." I'm like,
2 sentences.
I basically was just like,
You're like, it was good, yo, go see it.
If you follow our TikTok page as well, there's also a pretty good run up that Kenny did of it with the TikTok page too.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely go check this out. I put some on my personal page, the spoiler ones. I'm going to start dropping spoiler quick TikTok videos as well after we get out of our Discord chat.
Nice.
So yeah.
Wait, spoiler free or spoiler full?
What's it? The TikTok videos?
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll be spoilers. So they'll get big tags in front of like, get off this video.
Gotcha.
Don't. And I did that on my page too, because I don't want anyone stumbling across it and be like,
oh no! That's the man right there, mommy. He's the one who spoiled Spider-Man for me.
So I just dropped the Discord event link in the chats. So if you're on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch, you'll see those. Join us over in Discord. All 3 of us, we're getting ready to head right on over there and have a conversation with you all. I know the folks that are probably already in there are like, I posted the note to them, so they're at least they're like, and dang it, man, if we'd actually started at 8, it would have been perfect. But it's okay. It's this app. I'm gonna have a conversation with customer service because I don't understand why this link keeps having it's a thing. Anyway, all right, you know to join us on Discord tomorrow night. We teased it already. Matrix Revolutions, our final Matrix rewatch. It's tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Central. Also in Discord, so you can come join us and watch that. It'll be streaming in the event, but it'll also be available if you have Hulu or HBO Max. You can watch it on your own, and we'll tell you the time to start. Watch with us, and then we'll have a post movie discussion about that. And I'll probably also drop my predictions for what I think is going to happen in Resurrections, and I'll try to keep what I know separate.
How do you know what happens in Resurrections already?
Huh?
Did you go to an early screening?
Okay, and
NDAs.
You're allowed to say whether or not you went to it. Okay, anyways. Sorry.
Yeah, 8 p.m. Central. Yes.
Your NDAs are different than mine.
8 p.m. Central. Well, I don't want to ruin for folks if I actually. It's not a really. Okay. I basically want to give my prediction I knew before watching it. Okay. Anyway, we're heading over to Discord. Do we have any other plugs? Anything else we need to say?
We have a TikTok now. Follow the TikTok page. It's dope.
Yeah, Quorum on Thursday.
All the funny stuff there.
Hawkeye finale. We're talking about it Thursday in Discord as well, 7 p.m. Central, along with the episodes 6 and 7 of Cowboy Bebop live action. All right, we're shutting up. We're going over there. We're going. We'll see y'all over there. Bye. You got the link. Hit the link.
Press the button. Push the button.
Push the button.
Peace.
Push the button. Push the button.